Hi, this is John Gruden, and you're watching Rugby Wrap-Up.
Brought to you by our friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy here at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on West 35th Street in New York City. In the studio with me is Jennifer Jones, the women's head coach of Rutgers, and she also plays with the Monmouth women's team.
Yes.
Jennifer. And Jennifer, we have a pretty special guest calling in with us today. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Perry Baker, the try maker, calling in from are you in Chula Vista, Perry?
I am.
So you're in the nice warm climate while we're here in New York suffering through snow and slush and dismal weather.
Well, not today. I mean, I don't have snow and slush, but it's definitely raining and cold today.
What's cold over there?
60s. Low
60s. We had 13 from Christmas Eve on. We had every day below freezing here in New York until yesterday. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, Perry Baker, I kid you, but Mr. Baker, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that live in a cave or in a coma, is the World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year. That is World Sevens Player of the Year, and he's an American, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not true, Mr. Baker?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So you're from originally. Let me just see if I got this background correct. You're originally from Florida. You went to a Division II college to play football. You had some interest from the Eagles, but you had a knee injury, and then you played arena football. Right so far?
You're right. Spot on.
All right, so basically at the age of 26, somebody convinced you to play rugby.
Yes, my high school position coach, he always put it in my ear to give rugby a shot, and I would just blow it off. And then one time he came to watch me play basketball, and he was like, I'm telling you, you can be a really good rugby player if you just give it a shot. I'm like, sure. I had no idea what rugby was, never heard of it. But I went out one night to a training session, and I fell in love with the game instantly. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to college to play football, but I also want to play rugby. This game is fun. So here and there, hit or miss, in the summertime, I'll play in like 1 or 2 tournaments, and that's to try and qualify to go to nationals. If we did go to nationals, I would play in nationals, and that would be it.
So that was sevens, not 15s, right?
Correct. That was sevens.
So I got a whole host of questions that are racing through my mind right now. But so you basically didn't play a hell of a lot of rugby until you decided to go for it full time after a long layoff of sorts. And at 26, you started, right?
Correct. Yes, I wanted to learn the game. So I was thinking like I can't go back home to learn it because they don't take it seriously there back home. So I was told about this academy that was in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, which was called Tiger Rugby.
Yep.
So that's where I went to kind of like learn the game of rugby.
Paul Holmes, James Walker, those guys?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, they owe me a lot of money. The next time you see them, have them buy you a lot of stuff because they owe me tons of cash.
All
right, fair enough. Okay, so
fair enough.
Let's get to the World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year award. Is it a trophy?
World Rugby Men's Sevens Player of the Year award.
It is a trophy.
How big of a trophy is it?
It's not too big. It's like your standard size trophy. Actually, it just was shipped to me last week. Ironically, they spelled my last name wrong, which I was all over the walls there at the award ceremony. And they put an R in there next to the A.
So you're Terry Parker?
Yeah.
How do you mess up Baker?
I have no idea. And they were saying that. It was like your name is spelled all over this place. So I don't know how that happened, but they actually shipped it to me last week. I had it.
All right. So, okay. So the trophy. When you say it's your, it's a standard trophy. Not all of us are getting trophies, Perry. So it's not like we're all familiar with the sizes of trophies. But in relation to Lord Stanley Cup or the Lombardi Trophy, how big of a trophy is it?
Oh, it's not that big. I guess you can think about a trophy that's the size of like something if you were in like a Pop Warner League football or basketball league and they hand out these trophies. I mean, it's a nice size trophy. I mean, the size doesn't matter to me. It's just being honored to be able to hold this up and represent my country and my teammates and my coaching staff.
Oh, you're a much better man than I am because I'm all about the trophy and the gaudiness of it. And Jennifer, did you get any money for the thing? Did you get keys to a car? I mean, you're the World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year. What'd you get for it?
I just got recognition for it.
We got to change that.
Bragging rights. Definitely have bragging rights.
Tell me about it.
So, all right. So, 26 years old, you're now 31. In 5 years, you had this meteoric rise to the top of the World Sevens game. You are completely refuting all of the purists out there that say crossover athletes can't make that transition. What do you say to that, sir?
I mean, that's part of the reason why you work so hard. I mean, we as Americans, just people in general, you're doing something just because someone said you couldn't do it to prove them wrong. So, I mean, that's the fuel to my fire that kind of drove me. Was not just a simple fact that I was being a crossover athlete. It was just that I was $170 and they were telling me I wouldn't be able to play rugby. I can't take a hit. I won't be able to make a hit. Things like that. So that was the fuel to my fire to drive me just to prove those naysayers wrong. And then I can stand on a platform and tell anyone else who has a dream that don't listen to naysayers. So it was it all worked out pretty good for me. At the end of the day, I can sit back and say I did it, what I was told I couldn't do.
I'll say, and kudos to you. So when you're making the transition from football, you were a wide receiver, right?
Correct.
All right, so you're not really tackling when you're a wide receiver.
No, but I also was a gunner on punt, and I was on kickoff, and I also played a little bit of defensive back.
But it had to be a bit of a jump for you to go and face down like the beast of Danny Barrett at training practices and try to tackle him. Right?
Definitely. I mean, it definitely was different for me, for one, because I can't just dive in at someone's leg and not wrap up.
Right.
And it was about being patient. Like in football, you just run straight through, and in rugby, you got to be patient. And that's the thing, especially with Danny Barrett. If you think you're finna just go in and just hit Danny, it's not happening.
Yeah. When he
tried to get the hit.
When he sees somebody, ready to tackle him, he gets this like wild-eyed look and smile on his face. Does he do the same thing at practice?
He does. He does.
All right. Well, he also owes me a lot of money, so get stuff out of him too. All right.
All right. We'll work this together.
I've been on many long bus rides with Danny Barrett. This is flying by, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back after this.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
All right, everybody, how's it going? We sip, we peel, and we slide? Nah, like this. We sip, we peel, we win.
I think I'm getting this. Grab a large or extra large freshly ground, freshly brewed hot coffee for your chance to win great prizes like free coffee for a year. Get your celebration ready. Dunkin' Donuts. This is coffee. This is winning.
All right, so what's the biggest thrill for you so far in your rugby career? Was it the Olympics, or you've got America hosting the World Cup in San Francisco? What's the biggest thing, the Olympics or the World Cup?
I would say for me it was the Olympics. That was like a dream come true because that was like one of the main reasons why I chose to take on rugby when I did. So once we qualified for that, it was just unreal to me. Like, man, you have an opportunity to represent your country, your family, your friends, and be known as an Olympian. So once that happened, we qualified, and then I was like, man, this is actually real. This is actually happening. And then to actually be standing there in the opening ceremony, I mean, that was like the biggest highlight of my rugby journey.
And is that rugby journey going to take you to to the next Olympic Games?
That's the plan. I mean, I've talked about it, but as I'm getting older and hopefully my body stays healthy, I mean, that's the plan to go to 2020, but we'll see.
Well, but you talk about old in your body. Jennifer, he started playing at 26. In rugby years, you're like 5.
Yeah, but the training and stuff that we do now, oh my goodness, the training is totally different. There's nothing in this world that's like rugby. From the football training, the basketball training, just rugby is totally different. It's a take it to a whole nother level. Like it's a mindset kind of deal. It's like breaking your mind down. It's like you do military style training.
Well, those guys, your coaching staff are completely insane. They're absolutely insane.
They are.
You know, Friday and Browning and Green. You know, they're all nuts. So I
Right.
Greening and Brown and Friday together could crack any criminal that we need to have confess to something, right? With their training sessions.
Oh yeah, they can. Oh, definitely. I mean, like morning. I mean, we're out there first thing this morning at 7:45, raining and fields all muddy and stuff, and here we are out there training.
Well, hey, you know, it ain't tennis.
Correct. You're right.
All right, so
you're right.
But Perry, now you've got 15s possibly teasing you. You've got the Major League Rugby set up at the MLR. Anybody out there offering you contracts to go and maybe, you know, you could hide on the field a little bit in 15s. You can't hide in 7s, but you can go out there and maybe earn a few bucks. Any French teams, any Premiership teams offering you contracts?
Not at the moment. I mean, I've had talks about the top 14s over in France, and I came to a decision where I wouldn't do it now. Like if I was to ever do it, it'd be this season. But this season has kicked off, and I'm gonna stick with 7s because like we have the World Cup 2018, 2019, the Olympic qualifications, and then 2020 Olympics. So there's no time now for me to play 15s. If I was to do it, I would have done it this year.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that you're passing up all the French wine, the temperate climate, the women, the money of the French top 14 teams? You telling me you're passing that? You're passing that up?
Definitely. One, I'll pass the women because I'm engaged. I'm about to be married at the end of the year. I'll pass that part.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Second part, and then the other thing is too, I want to be like right here in my country and earn money. Like I hear so many rugby guys that came in and they all left to go play overseas. That's where the money is. But I feel like the game could be changed right here. I mean, and make money. It's just that the sport is growing, and one is I'm player of the year and I'm an American. I'm right here, so that brings recognition to the game. So I feel like, man, if the game is to change and to get other people involved, it needs to start right here. Not everyone start here and then leave and go somewhere else because the game won't grow like that.
Are you running for office? Because you're very diplomatic. But that aside, what's the future for Perry Baker after rugby?
I don't know. That was a question I was trying to decide yesterday. Like, what's next after rugby? I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to do a little bit of commentating. That seems fun and exciting. So I definitely want to dive into that and see what it holds for me. And I also want to do some investigating kind of stuff, like just to use my degree that I got in school, and because I was always intrigued about some type of investigating. I wanted to become a homicide detective before rugby.
Whoa!
I didn't want to become a police officer. Yeah, so I did an internship this past summer with the NYPD, and I went up to New Hampshire and did some work up there with the police department there in Portsmouth. And just to try and feel out what I want to do and what route I want to take.
Cool.
Without being a police officer. Yeah.
Cool. So you and Shaq going to team up and maybe get a little PI investigative company going on? Maybe a sitcom on the WB?
Hey, I wouldn't mind it.
All right. Fair enough. Now, we're basically out of time, unfortunately. I could talk to you for hours. But, Jen, you got a question for him you might want to ask?
Yeah, Perry, do you have any advice for kids that want to get into the game or become world player of the year?
The best advice I can give them is believe in yourself. That's the first thing first. If you believe in yourself, then you can reach any goal you want, because if someone else don't believe in you and you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to work. So you definitely have to have that confidence in yourself to believe you can do it. So take that and run with it.
Beautiful.
Have confidence in yourself.
Beautiful, beautiful. On that note, we're getting yelled at again in the headphones. You hear these guys; they're crazy downstairs. But Perry, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been such a pleasure. Jennifer, thank you for sitting in. Jennifer was in earlier on a different segment. And on that note, we have to cut short this segment. And once again, we're out of here. So on behalf of Jennifer Jones and Mr. Perry Baker, Matt McCarthy here at Studio 34, the Fantasy Sports Network on West 35th Street in Manhattan for Rugby Wrap Up, signing off.